The European clay court season is officially here, but the 2026 Monte Carlo Masters is already making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Before a single ball has even been struck, chaos has taken over Monaco, with a staggering 14 players pulling out or skipping the tournament altogether, including some of the biggest names in tennis. So what's going on? Who's out? And what does this mean for the clay season ahead? Let's break it all down. The Monte Carlo Masters has always been a unique stop on the ATP Tour. It marks the beginning of the prestigious European clay swing, a crucial stretch leading up to Roland Garros. But unlike other Masters 1000 events, Monte Carlo is not mandatory. That means players can skip it without facing penalties. And this year, many have done exactly that. Let's start with the biggest shock of all. Novak Djokovic is out. The world number 4 has withdrawn from the tournament. And this is a major surprise. In fact, this marks the first time since 2011 that Djokovic has skipped Monte Carlo. Even more interesting, Djokovic has only played 2 tournaments this entire season: the Australian Open and Indian Wells. That's a very light schedule for a player of his caliber. The good news for him? He won't lose any ranking points here due to how the ATP system works with previous results. Still, his absence leaves a massive gap in the draw and raises questions about his form, fitness, and priorities heading into the clay season. And Djokovic isn't alone. World number 8, Taylor Fritz, has also withdrawn. Fritz has been dealing with a knee injury throughout the season, and it seems he's finally decided to step back and reassess. Interestingly, he had already hinted at this decision earlier, suggesting that if he had to skip part of the season, it would likely be clay. And now, that prediction has become reality. Unlike Djokovic, Fritz will lose ranking points, making this withdrawal potentially costly in the rankings race. Now, let's look at other notable withdrawals. Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, last year's semi-finalist, is out, and this one hurts. He's expected to drop out of the top 20 as a result, after failing to defend his strong run from 2025. Jack Draper, currently ranked world number 25, has also pulled out, but his situation is a bit different. This appears to be more of a precautionary move. Draper is still working his way back from an arm injury and is focusing on building fitness rather than rushing into competition. A smart, long-term decision, but another big name missing from the draw. More withdrawals include Arthur Fils, who is managing a back injury despite recently reaching the Miami semi-finals. Jaume Munar, still sidelined with an arm issue. Sebastian Corda, who has been dealing with a back problem after an intense run in Miami. That's already a long list, but we're not done yet, because several players didn't even enter the tournament in the first place. And this group includes some very high-profile names. Ben Shelton, world number 9, out. Tommy Paul, world number 21, out. Lerner Tien, world number 22, out. And perhaps most surprisingly, Holger Rune has chosen not to enter. Rune, a former Monte Carlo finalist, is still recovering from an Achilles injury that has kept him sidelined since October. He's the only non-American player in this group who skipped the event despite being ranked high enough to compete. The rest of the non-entries include Brandon Nakashima, Alex Mickelson, Jensen Brooksby. A clear pattern emerges here. Many American players are choosing to skip Monte Carlo. And there's a reason for that. Because Monte Carlo is optional, many players, especially from the US, prefer to either rest or compete on green clay courts back home before heading to Europe. It's all about managing the schedule. And with 2 massive mandatory Masters events coming up in Madrid and Rome, players are being extra cautious. Those tournaments are longer, more demanding, and much closer to the French Open. So for many, skipping Monte Carlo is a strategic decision. But let's be honest, this many withdrawals? It's unusual. And it completely reshapes the tournament. With so many top players missing, this opens the door for new contenders. Lower-ranked players now have a golden opportunity to go deep into a Masters 1000 event. Young stars, qualifiers, and clay court specialists could take full advantage of a weakened field. We could see surprise semi-finalists, or even a shock champion. And that's what makes this year's Monte Carlo Masters so fascinating. Yes, the big names are missing, but unpredictability? That's at an all-time high. Let's also not forget the format. Monte Carlo remains one of the few Masters events that still runs over 1 week, with a 56-player draw. The top 8 seeds receive byes into the second round, giving them an early advantage. But with so many withdrawals, the seeding and matchups could look very different than expected. So what does all this mean moving forward? Well, for one, player health is becoming a major factor. Injuries are piling up, and players are becoming more selective about where they compete. Secondly, the clay season is shaping up to be wide open. With stars like Djokovic and Fritz already stepping back, the race for momentum heading into Roland Garros is completely unpredictable. And finally, Monte Carlo 2026 might just be remembered not for who played, but for who didn't. So keep your eyes on this tournament, because chaos often creates opportunity. And in tennis, that's when the magic happens. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates from the ATP Tour. Who do you think will take advantage of this wide-open draw? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.